Currently, there are thousands of people across the world who are making 6 figures through freelancing, and that can be you too. Now, according to a study conducted by Statista, it was found out that by the year 2027, 1 in every 2 Americans will be doing freelancing. Now, what does this mean? Half or even more than half of Americans will be doing freelancing jobs. Maybe some of them will have ditched their 9-to-5 jobs, or they will be juggling it on the side. And this is the direction, because we know a lot of things around the world start from the United States, then slowly they spread to other countries. So don't wait for it to be saturated. You can start it right now. Now, what does this mean for people who depend on gig economy, or the ones that will gain interest and decide to start freelancing? It can be you. What does this mean for you? It means that by the year 2027, the competition will be very high, to a point that it can even reach saturation level. So, if you are a freelancer, how do you stand out of the crowd? How do you become unique? How do you drive more sales to your business? In this video, I'm going to tell you 3 secrets that will help you stand out of the crowd, outcompete your competitors when the market will be very competitive. Because trust me, a lot of people are ditching 9-to-5 jobs and running to this gig economy. And if you're not serious or you're not strategic enough, then you will not make a lot of money by then. Or even now. Right now, as you can see, there are a lot of people on Fiverr. Finding a job on Fiverr requires you to do a lot than it used to be 10 years ago when I was starting my freelancing job. So, what are these 3 strategies that you can do to set yourself apart from the crowd? Because for you to win, you have to be strategic. Remember that your skill alone will not save you. It doesn't matter how good you are. There are thousands of people who are just as good as you. So you need something extra to put you on the edge, to make you stand out. Now, on to the first point. The first thing that you need to consider when you want to venture into freelancing, or you want to upscale your business as a freelancer, is you have to know that freelancing is sales, and there's nothing you can do about it. Just know that freelancing is sales. So you need to treat freelancing as a real business. You know, a lot of people, when they hear of freelancing, they just think it as a side gig, a side job, and that will mess you up when the competition right now is very high. So you need to consider freelancing as a real business and know that you have to be very good in sales and marketing. Right now, if you don't know how to pitch yourself as a real business, then I'm telling you that your opportunities are very limited, and you'll find yourself not making enough money in freelancing, while there are other people doing the same thing that you're doing and they are making a lot of money. So you have to understand that freelancing is sales. You are not just selling your skills or services. You are running a real business, and therefore you have to understand sales and the psychology behind why clients come back to you, or they keep coming back to your business. So by now, with this competition in freelancing, it doesn't matter whether you went to school and studied marketing or you have a background in sales. Just know that these are core things that you need as a freelancer in order to succeed in this industry. Now, how can you learn sales and marketing when you don't have a degree in sales or marketing? This is what you do. You can learn by practicing multiple times. You practice and practice, fail through the process multiple times until you come up with a good strategy that will help you to drive in more sales to your business. Another method that you can use to learn sales and marketing in this age of competition in freelancing is through learning from other freelancers who are doing well. Okay? In this way, you can pick up what are their strategies that help them to drive in more sales. Another way, you can decide to opt for taking an online course This will help you drive in sales, because when we are doing freelancing, all we care about is driving in sales and making in more money, besides delivering quality services and changing lives. You know, I always like to do business whereby I have real impact to real life issues that are facing people. As much as money is good and that's what we want, we should also be able to create an impact to the society. So when you are just entering the freelance industry, or maybe you are already in freelance industry, I urge you that you consider freelancing as a business and you learn sales and marketing, because it will set you apart from the crowd. Now, the second point that you need to know in order to stand out of the crowd in this very highly competitive freelancing market is understanding that your story is your superpower. You know, currently, a lot of people are using AI to write blog posts, to generate their stories, and maybe to even generate their email marketing content. But this has an effect on us. It makes every story sound the same. You can see the internet right now, a lot of things are just repetition. They sound the same. But how do you stand out of competition when everyone is using AI? Your personal story. Your story is your superpower. That's your unique selling point, as it's called in marketing. That's your USP. You know, many people fear telling their stories. But let me tell you something. That story that you have will make people trust you, will make people want to work with you, because they can relate, because they know that you are an expert. So how do you tell these stories, and what can you tell in your stories? First, you can speak about the challenges that you have faced in the past, that you are facing right now, and how these challenges are affecting you. You can even talk about the mistakes that you have done in the past and what you learned from them, and maybe even share how different you are running things right now. You can even give personal background stories and say how they shaped you. For instance, I want to give you a 3-point structure of how you can put your story. The first thing that you must mention in your story is the context. Where did this thing happen? How did it happen? Another thing, you can talk about the conflict. There are 3 C's: context, conflict, and change. Now we are on to the second point of that structure: conflict. What was the issue? What was happening? What was affecting your business? And on to the third point, which is the high turning point for you, is what did you learn and what was the outcome from your story? For instance, here I have a simple story from an email marketer. It reads, "When I was starting out, I really struggled to convert my email subscribers into paying clients. My open rates were decent, but no one was actually buying. I felt stuck. Honestly, I got so frustrated I almost quit. Then I made one small change. I started adding personal stories and bits of social proof into my emails. That was it. The next campaign, it doubled my conversions. These days, I average around 22% from email to sale. It told me that sometimes it's not about working harder, it's about connecting better." Now, from that story, we can see that that story is very relatable. And what importance does that story have to your business? It shows clients that you are a real person, you are relatable, and you are an expert in your field. Okay? So I would just like to urge you again that tell your stories and make them your unique selling proposition, because this will help to build trust with your clients. It will help you to connect with people. It can also help other people. Through your stories, other people can learn. As you remember, I have told you that it's very good when you start a business, it should have real impact to real people. Now on to our last point. The third tip that you need to practice in order to stand out of the crowd in this highly competitive freelancing business. Stop calling yourself a freelancer. What do I mean by stop calling yourself a freelancer? You will bear witness with me that when you say that you are a freelancer, people don't take you seriously. Freelance or freelancer sounds like a casual job. When people, or rather clients, hear about this, they think you are just someone disposable, just someone for a short time. You are not a real business. So I usually urge my Finder community that instead of calling yourself a freelancer, try and make it like a real business. Create a real business. You can, instead of saying that I'm a freelance graphic designer, instead of saying that I'm a freelance graphic designer, you can say that I run a graphic studio or I run a design studio. You would, instead of saying I'm a freelance instead of saying that I'm a freelance SEO specialist, just call yourself an SEO expert. I think that will do. Instead of saying that you are a freelance copywriter, just say that I am a copywriting expert. Okay? Now, what impact does this have to your business? When you turn that skill that you have and brand it like a real business, people take you seriously. If they used to pay you very small fee, when it's a business, they will pay more. Trust me. If you are in a country like the United States, you can build an LLC, limited liability corporation, you know, instead of just running a sole proprietorship. Make it a company that people can really see and see that this is a company that exists. It has a physical, it even has a physical location. Or if you don't have a physical location, just create a website, make it a real business. And even you can go a step further and set your revenue goals, track your finances, and even the most important thing that you should do is study your competition. Identify what are their strengths. When you know their strengths, try to improve yourselves on those areas. And another important thing is also you can study their weaknesses. And by studying their weaknesses, you can identify the areas where you can shine now. This is what becomes your unique selling point again, or rather unique selling proposition. By doing these three things that I've told you in this video, trust me, however much competition will get in freelance jobs, you'll always stand out and you'll get more sales. You can even drive your sales 22% more, or even 40, 60, you never know. Now let's do a recap of what we have discussed in this video. We said that the first point is treat freelancing as sales. Freelancing is sales. Stop doing it as a side gig. Make it a real business. And the second point was your story is your superpower. So don't hide the challenges that you have faced, the mistakes that you have done. Share it with people. You can share it on LinkedIn and it will help you build more connections and even upscale your business by bringing in more sales. And the third point was stop calling yourself a freelancer. Instead, call yourself as a real business, as a real agency, as a real consultancy agency. Okay, those are the 3 points that are prepared for you today. And trust me, if you follow these strategies that I've given you, you'll be way above your competitors and you'll see more sales. You can even drive sales 10% more, 20, 30, even 60. You never know. So happy freelancing, guys, and I wish you all the best. If you're just new into freelancing, then I encourage you, don't take it like a side job or a casual job. No, treat it as a real business. And I'm telling you that it is very easy for you to make even $100,000 or even more. Actually, I'm just saying that you can make even 6 figures freelancing, whether it's a side job or your full-time job. So that's all for today. Bye.